Welcome back, and let's continue with the next part. So it is very, very interesting or a very important tool, guys, to work on real world also, because a lot of projects, okay, has been implemented, or I can say the system has been configured automatically, or I can say automation with the help of this tool. So as a career perspective or real world use case perspective, this tool is very, very critical and very much useful also. Okay. This is just a next class for Ansible, mostly the second class. But the core concept and the use of the Ansible as a basic requirement and what kind of use case Ansible solve. Okay, we have discussed in the first class, right? So today we're going to implement the Ansible directly. Where we use the Ansible, we know. But as a quick information, okay, any computers if you have, any operating system you have, okay, it does not matter is a Windows or Linux, okay, and if you want to, and again it is can be devices also, your network devices, routers, switches, your storage devices, okay. So anywhere you have the operating system, I can say, okay, if you want to set up this operating system, that is also known as configure your operating system the way you want to use. And guys, when I say the word configure, it can be anything from installing the software, upgrading the software, doing some patch management, creating the file or the folder, copying some data here and there, set up the database, set up the server services, set up security firewalls. Okay, everything come in the term called configure. Okay, so if you want to do the configuration management, okay, now we have two choices. One, we can do the configuration management manually, means by running the command manually, or one, we can do the configuration automation. And again, if you in the automation world, so if you want to do a configure automatically or with help of automation, again, we have two choices. So one choice is we can do the automation with a non-intelligent way, that's called imperative way. There we can use shell scripting or some kind of scripting languages. Okay, but if you want to do automation kind of intelligence way, okay, that's called declarative way, that where we discuss about and we do and use the help of Ansible. So this entire concept I explained you guys in my last class, okay, and there I explained you what are the use cases what Ansible can do and solve for you. Today we're going to do practicals directly. Okay, so what we are going to do, we'll do something like this. Before guys I go ahead, okay, we are guys learning the latest version of Ansible, and this latest version of Ansible, lots of internal things in the Ansible has been changed. A lot of component of the Ansible has been changed. Okay, Ansible is a product from the company called Red Hat. Okay, or I can say Ansible is open source, but it's been backed up by or sponsored by a company called Red Hat. So I can say this product is from the Red Hat. Okay, so Red Hat guys has come with a new platform for Ansible. This is called AAP, Ansible Automation Platform. Okay, where a lot of new things has been presented, the way they work behind the scene, this called entire component and architecture they have recreate, and that is best suitable for today's use case and the future use cases. Okay, so good thing guys is we are learning the latest version of Ansible with the newer platform called AAP. That's what we are doing here. Okay, so anybody who know Ansible already, or they might have done some Ansible authorized training or Red Hat, let's say RH294 is one training program or authorized training program from Ansible. Okay, so if you see the content, it is the same content what you guys might see in your previous training if you guys gone through. But in this training, name is same, course is same. But in this training, we are going to do the things on the Ansible AAP platform. Ansible automation platform. Okay, and that too we are going to do on the top of Red Hat version 9. Okay, so topic is same, but the entire platform is different. So lots of new things gonna come up over here in this training. Okay, this is one thing. And second thing is, okay, because we have just started Ansible, and most of the guys may be very new in Ansible. Okay, so my last class motto, and again the today's class motto is to give you the concepts of the Ansible. Okay, so we are going to discuss about we are discussing here the concept, why Ansible, why is known as the work in the declarative way, what is declarative language, how we create a playbook that we're going to do today, what are resources and modules and other things, right? So my last class and today's class motto is not to start this tool or this platform, but the core concept of the Ansible, what Ansible work behind the scene. Okay, so that is a reason because we are discussing the core of the Ansible. So we have a dedicated products available in this platform called Ansible Core. That's what we installed in my last class also. Okay, after we understand some of the vocabulary of the Ansible, okay, like a module, the playbook that we'll discuss today, then everybody comfortable on the Ansible, then we'll move to this platform and we'll understand how this platform works. And then this platform specific commands gonna come up. Okay, so if anybody is also following along the Red Hat authorized books, so anybody who registered with the Ansible Red Hat authorized examination, they have given the role access, the lab of the Red Hat. Okay, so they might say in initial chapter there's Ansible navigator commands. Okay, and so don't worry guys about those commands. Okay, in my next class you will become comfortable to work on these commands that come from the AAP platform. Okay, but before we move to those commands and the platform, you should know the Ansible core concepts and the Ansible some of the core basic commands, what normally we have or we used to have. Okay, so there was one is very quick information I would like to give you before we go ahead. Okay, so again today we'll talk more about the Ansible internal concepts and the core concepts and how Ansible work behind the scene. Okay, AAP SS platform, the newly launched, we will discuss from my next class. Okay, but does not mean you have to skip this class. Without the today's class base, you won't be able to work anything in the Ansible in the future classes, right? And again, today's class is almost about the practicals. We're going to do lots of practicals today. Okay, so let's start. So what we are going to do today, okay, Ansible has one more interesting capability. Okay, what can we do? In my company, we might have multiple different devices like routers, maybe have one Linux server, one more Linux server, maybe we have one more Windows server. Okay, multiple independent computers we have. And let's say this having IP1, this IP2, this IP3. Okay, and what we want to do, we want to configure these guys. Okay, when I say configure, means I want to set up these guys. Means maybe I want to set up some servers. Okay, so there's two choices. One, we will log into this computer and configure this server the way we normally configure. Or other way is, what can we do? We have one more extra computer here or one server here. Okay, and from here, right, what can we do? Let's say this is a computer number 100, IP 100. Okay, from this computer, we can go to these computer and configure it. Okay, we can go and log into this computer and configure this. So maybe this might look very simple. Those who know SSH protocol, remote login, you guys can say that from IP 100, if I want to configure IP 1, we can do remote login with SSH protocol. After login here, we'll reach to the command prompt and do the configuration. That's what we keep on doing till date. Okay, but we are not going to do with SSH or remote login. We are doing this configuration with the help of Ansible. So what I'm going to do here in this computer number 100, we are going to install Ansible. And what can we do with the Ansible? Here, we can write some Ansible code that we're going to learn today. With the help of this code, we'll run this code. And I told you guys in my last class, anytime and every time you want to make the things automated, automation only work with the code. Without the code, you can't automate. But it does not mean you should be developer or hardcore developer. The way we write the code is very, very simple. Anybody without any development knowledge, they can write the code. But Ansible, we will, guys can hold for a second, please. One minute, please. What we'll do, okay, we will write the code. And after write the code, we'll run this code, execute this code. Now this code has a capability. Okay, this code will go from this computer to this computer. Let's say this is computer number A. They will go to this B, let's say C and D. So they can go to C and configure whatever you want to configure. So you don't have to do SSS as such. Okay, code will automatically go log into this computer behind the scene, and whatever you write in the code, they will go there and set up the system the way we want to set up, because we are the one who going to write the code. But one more thing that Ansible provide you, there's some requirement where you have hundreds of computer. Let's say we have 3 here, but let's say we have hundreds of computer. Okay, we want to configure all. Okay, so again, we have a capability in Ansible that we can tell this code, or we instruct this code, I want to run this in all the computers. So you don't have to write some extra code for this. No, mostly guys in the programming world, okay, if you want to do same thing again and again, we use loop, like for loop or while loop. But here we don't have to write any kind of loop. Okay, we'll tell somehow by some keyword that I want this code to be run in all this computer, or maybe IP1 and 2, IP3 and 4, maybe all the computer. By using some keyword, we can configure these computers. Like this, there's a lot more benefit we have. As we progress, as we do a practical, I will keep on explaining this concept to you. Okay, but in Ansible, this is how we do. So we normally have one single computer. Okay, this system where we install the Ansible, and the system where we write the code and run the code from here on. We don't have to go to B and C and D. Okay, so in this case, okay, this computer where we install the Ansible are known as Ansible Manager node. And sometimes this computer is also known as Ansible Controller node, because from here we are going to control the things. Okay, so this A computer where we install the Ansible, run the code, or maybe write the code, are known as Manager or the Controller node. And they are going to control A, B, and C computer. Sorry, B, C, and D computer. Okay, and how are they controlling? They are helping us to manage this B and C and D. So in this case, these computers are known as managed computer. They are the manager, A is the manager, and the system we are configuring it automatically with the help of Ansible are known as managed computer. And normally guys, in this kind of world, every computers are known as a node. So they are known as managed node, and this is known as controller node. This is how it works. Okay, but obviously the minimum requirement would be, if you want A computer is going to connect to C computer, obviously it's 2 different computers. It would be anywhere in the world, does not matter. Okay, maybe you are right now in your laptop, but this computer can be in the cloud also. This computer can be Azure cloud, this can be in AWS cloud, it could be anywhere. But obviously the minimum requirement should be networking. You should have a network connectivity. If IP100 won't able to connect to IP2, it won't work. But networking is a big term, right? Behind the networking, you need certain way that's called protocol. Okay, so if A want to connect to C so that they can run the code on C, so that we can configure the computer, we can manage the config management on the C. Okay, so we need certain kind of way, certain kind of protocol over here. Okay, so Ansible use SSH protocol behind the scene. Behind the scene. Okay, or if I can make it more clear, if your managed computer is a Linux or Linux kind of system, then we use SSH protocol. Okay, and if the managed computer is Windows and Windows kind of system, then Windows mostly by default does not support SSH protocol, does not support. So in Windows we use WinRM protocol. So for Windows we use this protocol. Okay, depend upon which computer you want to configure and which computer you want to manage. Okay, depend upon again the other devices also. Other device might support SSH, other device might support some other protocol. So the system or the final node, that's called managed node, sometimes also known as target node. Okay, so whatever the protocol target node support, Ansible has to use that protocol to connect. How? That's what we'll see in the upcoming discussion. So this is, guys, how a high level architecture of the Ansible is pretty simple, nothing very complex. Okay, more and more computer keep on adding, Ansible help us to connect by their respective way, protocol, whatever the support, so the other guys from outside world can connect, so that they can come in and they can do the configuration. I guess it's pretty simple, nothing very complex, even though I show you with the demos. Okay. One more time I want to add here is, okay, only one thing you tell to the Ansible is Ansible is a one who is going to connect to this computer. Let's say this is a computer number having IP address 5, for example. Let's say this IP 4. Okay, so Ansible controller node, you tell only one thing. Okay, where to go, because there's hundreds of computers in your company, right? So you have to tell the IP address. You tell Ansible IP5 is one of the system where to go. Okay, and connect. And but always, guys, if anybody coming from outside world, okay, this system will always ask the login and password. So you tell the Ansible the username also. To this system, let's say username, mostly in the Linux, we have a username root, is admin name. Or let's say this is a Linux operating system. Okay, so you tell the Ansible that to connect to IP5, they will ask the username, then give the username, whatever username you know or will provide to you. Okay, let's say root user. And obviously, because you're login, okay, because obviously you run the code for enter code, it will log in inside this OS. So they ask the password, then give the password. What a password you set? Let's say in my case, we'll set the password in a hat. Okay, and one more thing you have to tell to connect to this OS, which protocol to use. Okay, because this is the computer we are going to manage, so we know something about this OS. So we'll tell because this is Linux, so we're going to use SSH protocol. So we'll tell Ansible, if you go to this OS, use this protocol. If you go to Windows, use this protocol. Then you have to give a protocol name also, which protocol to use. Even though if you don't tell, they will auto-identify sometime, but it's good practice to tell this information. Okay, so you have to give this information once to the Ansible, only once. Then in the future, they keep on doing what you ask them to do. So in the future, we just keep on writing the code and ask the Ansible, run this code to this computer, run this code to other computer, run this code to all the computers. In future, the things will be very simple. By first time, initial time, any computer you have or you will have in the future, you have to update the Ansible that there is one more computer added in a company. And in the Ansible context, this computer is not an inventory. Every computer that you're going to manage, they are known as target node or the managed node. For the Ansible perspective, these are known as inventory. So if you want to configure anything with the Ansible, you have to provide these are the inventories to the Ansible. Okay, inventories. So technically, if I quickly summarize, in the Ansible system, there is known as controller node or the manager node or the management node or master node, whatever name they have. You have to provide two things. You have to give the inventory first. Okay, inventory means in simple term, all the details about your target computers, especially these 4 details. Okay, and second thing, you have to give the code, what you want to apply, how you want to configure all those computers. Okay, according to code, they will do the configuration management. Okay, giving the inventory is a one-time job. Maybe initially we'll provide. Okay, and then code is a lifelong process. As you keep on changing, create a file, remove a file, update the software, do this changes. We keep on writing the code or keep on changing the code. It's a long life process, right? Lifelong process, depending upon the projects you guys are working on. Okay. So according to this discussion, guys, this is the entire architecture, how Ansible work behind the scene. Okay. Then let's do this demo. Sorry, guys. So for this demo, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create 3 computers, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, to perform this demo. Okay, in my case, I'm going to install Red Hat version 9 for the Ansible. Again, Red Hat version 9 for the Ansible managed node, and again Red Hat version 9 for other managed node. Okay, now it is your choice. You want to install this Red Hat 9 in your laptop directly, use multiple laptops in the multiple servers. You install Red Hat version 9 directly on your virtual box. Sorry, free system you install. But obviously, if you try to install Red Hat 9 directly on laptop, you need a lot of RAM and CPU in your computer. Okay, but it is your choice. Okay, how to install Red Hat version 9? I think my team has provided a video to you how to download Red Hat 9 and how to install it in your system. That video we have provided in your portal. But in simple terms, there's no good reason to install in a local computer. Simplest way is to get this OS ready. We can use some cloud. In my case, I'm going to use AWS cloud. But if you install Red Hat 9 in the cloud or in local system, Red Hat 9 is 9. There's no change in the command. They are exactly the same. So wherever you get the Red Hat 9 from, that will be your choice. To make it simple, faster, so they can focus more on Ansible, I'm getting the Red Hat 9 from cloud. Okay, and 3 system I'm lodging, 1 for controller node and 2 for the target nodes. So we can do this kind of practicals, what I explained to you. Okay, so, so let me go to the cloud or AWS. Even though, guys, those who don't know how to create the account in AWS cloud and how to launch the instance, that video also we have provided in your learning portal. So those who by chance does not know about this cloud, they will see the thing. I don't know what this kind of verification come. Let me log into from my different account. Okay. So log into my different account. As I stop sharing my screen, I'll check why this account has been blocked. I have one more account of my team member. Let me check the detail. Okay, so one more, guys. I stopped sharing my screen, so just wait for. Yes, Rajiv, you can practice, right? Somebody asking you, our lab is Red Hat 8.4 with AAP 1.2. That's okay. The base OS could be anything, Rajiv. Okay, Ansible is independent upon your OS. Okay, you use Red Hat 8, 8.1, maybe 7, maybe 9. There's no difference gonna come up. Main thing is we need AAP platform. What is AAP platform? That's what we'll discuss from my next class. So wherever you have AAP platform, you can use any of the OS, does not matter. Even though you can use base Windows also, Ubuntu also. Ansible is same. The way Ansible work, the way you write the code is exactly same. Okay, platform is very important. Okay, so again, guys, I want to repeat. I explained you already. This training is very exclusive, new training on Ansible. We are going to learn AAP platform, very unique platform. Okay, but before we start this platform, AAP, Ansible platform, you should know lots of core concepts of Ansible. That was we was doing from last class and today's class also. So we are not going to start Ansible automation platform. Before this, I'm just giving you the concept. Even though there's one more very powerful tool from the Ansible we use a lot in the real world. It's called Ansible Tower. Okay, so we can't jump directly to Ansible Tower because it's not part of this program. It is normally come in the other advanced training of 7 or DO447, I believe. Okay, so where we discuss about the advanced Ansible, there we cover about very unique product of the Red Hat called Tower. Okay, even though for Tower also, the core concept of Ansible is very important, but what we are giving and discussing today. Otherwise, you can't go to any of the Ansible tools and technologies, right? So I think you understood this one thing. So let's guys go and log into this account. And what we are doing here, okay, what we're doing here, I'm going to launch a new instance. Okay, how to install the instance, you guys know. That's what we provided in my video. So this will be Red Hat 9 for Ansible. Okay, this is the name I'm giving here. I'm going to use Red Hat version 9, they automate select, and 1 GB RAM, 1 CPU is enough. I'm going to use one private key of mine that I created in my last class. Okay, this private key, and that's all. And I'm going to launch, guys. Even though, guys, I'm going to do one more small thing for some today's demo. I am going to set up some web server by the Ansible. So I need to allow firewall. So we have a connectivity properly. So I'm allowing this so that we can, after the demo, we can connect our website after whatever we're going to configure. So I'm allowing this firewall allow, and I'm going to launch 3 computers today, 3 instances. Why 3? I explained you already. 1 for controller, 2 for managed node. That's all. Okay. So, but guys, Red Hat 9 is Red Hat 9. You use your local laptop or maybe AWS Cloud, Azure Cloud, that will be your choice. Okay. Now, plan is I'm going to pick first computer or instance to configure as an Ansible system. When I say Ansible, I mean to say controller node or manager node. Okay. So let me install this part very quickly. So I'll pick one of the computer. So there will be no confusion on the name. Okay, 1 minute. So I'm going to give this name, it's just a name, nothing special. This will be my Ansible controller node. Okay. So let me connect. To connect, I need IP address. So this is a public IP. I'll take this guy. I'll use putty to connect to this program or to this OS. And username is ec2-user to log into this OS, and the IP address we already collect. I had already downloaded my private key. So I'm going to attach my private key to connect. This was the private key I downloaded already. That was, guys, we had done already in my last class, right? And login. Yes. So this is the computer, guys, where we're going to configure the Ansible. 1 minute, let me change the font size. Bold 16. Okay, and one more thing I'm going to change. System crash. So this is, guys, my Ansible controller node. Okay, so let me log in to my root account. Okay, and I'm going to install the software that we did already in my last class. It's Ansible core. Okay, a new version of Ansible in AAP that we'll discuss in my next class. But if you want to work only on the Ansible core without using AAP platform, okay, then this is the name of the software. In older version Ansible, the software name was this, but new AAP, the software name is Ansible-core. Okay, so this will install Ansible in your system and make your system Ansible controller node. I say yes. Okay, so this part is done. Nothing very tedious. But what's the planning is? Our planning, guys, is okay to do some automation and configure B and C. Before this, okay, you have to first tell the Ansible controller node your inventory. Inventory like a database. You have to create a database. Okay, means you tell that B is one of the computer you want to configure, C is one of the computer you want to configure. Okay, or this computer also known as host. You have to configure this host. So right now, after you install the Ansible, you ask, okay, can you tell me all the hosts I have right now? This command called list host. List host. How many hosts do you have? How much inventory you have? Can you tell me the details? This is 0. 0. I don't have any list in my database. Okay. So this command you can use to verify how many computers you have in the database, also known as inventory. I don't have because we haven't set yet. Okay. So I don't have right now. So what I have to do? Okay. You have to create an inventory. Okay. And how to get rid? Okay. You have to create an inventory. Okay. And how to get rid of the inventory? I told you we need 4 information. Okay. So we need the IP address. But where to create the inventory? So we have one file. So in etc, even though let me stop my system bell, otherwise they keep on bell the things, none. So etc Ansible host. So if you want to create the inventory, okay, more look like a database. So in this computer, this is the file we use, etc Ansible host. Okay, so let me use vi command to open. Okay, this file contains lots of information, but everything is commented. It's more like a help file. They give you the syntax, but you can write anywhere by uncommenting. So in this file, you have to tell these things. So I'm just giving as a comment, as a help. You have to give your IP address first, then username, password, and your protocol. Okay, something like this you have to give here. So this 4 information in this file you will give in this kind of way. Okay, but for this you should know the IP address. So let's find out the IP address. So let's say I want this computer. Let me change the name. I want this computer to work as a Ansible node 1, means target node 1, and the IP of this node 1 is this one. Let me copy or let me paste over here. So this is the IP address of my first computer. Okay, and then I'm going to pick second IP computer also. Let me change my name here for our reference in the AWS portal. Okay, IP of this computer is, we know this. Let me put here. So now this 2 IP would be my inventory. Let's say I don't know the username password till now, but let's say this 2 IP address. But just by putting the IP address and save the file, now if you run the list command, you can see that now this error goes, and this now we have 2 inventory in a system, these 2 IP addresses. In our case, let me use 142 over here to quick reference. So 142 is our IP address of this computer, and let's say 158 IP address of this computer. Now inventory set. But this information is incomplete. You can't do much, because if you only know the IP address, but if you don't know the username password, thing won't work. Okay. So how Ansible work? I told you, if your target node is Linux, so you have to give the IP address. You should know protocol name, you to give the username and password. Okay, but which username? Obviously, virtual user is created here. But our ultimate goal, guys, in this OS, we have to log into this OS with the help of Ansible or connect to this OS with the Ansible so that we can configure something. And you guys might know one thing about Linux. In Linux, if you want to configure something, configure means you want to install the software or you want to create account users. Then in the Linux OS, your admin user name root is the one who can do everything for you. Root is the only user who have power to do so. We can give other users a power with sudo concept, but by default, root is the only user who have all the power. So in this Linux system, if you want to configure anything, does not matter you log in yourself, manually log in with SSH, or maybe Ansible will connect. Does not matter. Okay, if you want to configure anything or system level thing, you should log in with the root account. It means, okay, it means in this computer, target node, you should know your username root and the password. And that to have a capability to connect via SSH. Okay, so we can check. So from the Ansible controller node, I can check, can I log in with the root account in this IP address? I'm just doing a very quick check. Okay, this is a manual testing I'm doing. Ansible will connect to this OS something like this. They will use this username, this IP address, this protocol, and the password. Here the field. Okay. It means there's something there in this IP address that does not allow me to log in via SSH to this user. If they don't allow me, Ansible won't work actually. So what is the challenge here is, this challenge is not from the Ansible, neither from the Red Hat 9. Okay. By chance, if you guys create your install any Linux system in the AWS cloud, in this case, we install Red Hat 9. Because security reason, what are those? We might discuss in the future. And that day, guys, will convert and change my username from root to some other user. We'll discuss in the future classes. But right now, to make it things simple, I am using a root account here. But in AWS cloud, because security reason, okay, they disable this account. So nobody from outside the world can do SSH to this account. And Ansible will always do SSH behind the scene. Okay. So for our demo right now, okay, I'm just disabling the security. Okay, for some time. So we can focus more on the Ansible. So what I'm going to do, this is again not a part of Ansible, but I'm going to log into this OS and trying to enable root login via SSH. Okay. And that's what I'm going to do in some classes, but after you become comfortable in Ansible, then we'll change the root account with some sudo concept. We have to add do a lot of changes in Ansible for this. We'll do in the future classes. So I'm going to log into these computers. Okay, again, same way. I'll use putty again in all the computers. Okay, log in with this user. At the rate which computers? All the nodes. Let me go for node 1 first. Copy is again one-time effort. And let me attach to my private key that I created while setting this OS. And okay. So right now, technically, I am here in this node 1, or I can say I'm here in this computer. And what I'm doing, nothing special. I explained you already, but let me do it very quickly. Change the font of this OS. So let me log in with a root account. Okay. So in this system, my root login is disabled. Which computer? This computer. So I'm going to enable the root login so the Ansible can connect to the root account. Okay. And right now Ansible is not able to connect. The Ansible cannot try to connect to Ansible is not connecting, permission denied. That's what I'm to allow. So for this, first you have to set your root password, something. Okay, this is one thing you have to do. The second thing is you have to go to one internal file of SSS. Sorry. So this is one internal file you have to go to the this computer, and there we have to allow in SSS that we can log into this account. So there in this file, almost the line number. Okay, 1 minute. I'll give the exact line number. This one. Where it is. In this file. Okay, in the last line, they say you can't log into any password. I want to log in with passwords. So I have to say yes first. Okay, that's what you have to do here. And maybe I might have to do one more small thing. Let me check. Do we need? Otherwise, we leave it. So there is one keyword called permit root login. They might disable this. So this keyword, okay, we have to uncomment and make it yes. These three things you have to do. Okay, that's all. I'll show you one more time. You have to do the same thing in other computer also. But after do changes, restart your services to update your SSS program. That now in this computer means this 142, and it will get to SSS to the root account. I can very quickly verify from the Ansible computer. Last time I was failing, but this time they're asking the password, and I know the password because I'm the one who set. I can able to log in. This thing is working great. Let me log out. So this is a minimum requirement, guys, for the Ansible. Okay, Ansible. This is the Ansible controller node. Ansible controller node. These are the IP address I have to configure. But now in this IP, I can log in. I've tested this. Okay. So the minimum requirement for the Ansible is in the manager node is this system should have SSH services running. This is the first requirement for the Ansible. Second requirement is they can log into root account. It's not a compulsory requirement. In the future, we can change in other way by other account. How we'll do, if I talk today, maybe complex for you. To make it simple, I am logging with root account for some classes. So this is a minimum requirement. Ansible will say we need, otherwise I won't be able to connect. Okay. Same thing I want to do in this computer also. I don't have here. It means if I ask Ansible, can you do remote login to this IP address, other managed node? Again, same error, permission denied. So what I'm going to do again using putty and connect to this computer with this user. This user is created by Ansible for AWS Cloud will create this account for you in this computers. Attach this private key that I downloaded while creating this OS this key I created in my last class. Okay, and I'm doing the same thing. I'm not increasing my phone right now. Quickly do it. I'll log in first the root account. First setting the root password in this OS. Okay, this is one step. Second step is I'll go and access this internal SSS file. ssd_config is not SSS, ssd_config. And there, the three things I'm doing. One, I'm asking that permit root login. Anybody want to log in root? Allow, yes. Okay. And the second thing I'm doing here, actually there's two things only. And in the last of this file, I'm saying please also allow login via password, because they only allow key login, private key, but I say also allow login via password. Okay. And we got to change something in internal files. So you have to restart or reload service. Okay, so those steps, guys, will give, my team will give you in a document step by step. You can also follow along. It's not related to Ansible, but that's what we need minimum. And again, to confirm, this Ansible controller node, now we can able to log in. Okay, so technically, if you talk about Ansible, we have the inventory and we tested all the inventory. Ansible can, my system can log in. My system can log in, so Ansible can also log in. That's what we had tested. Okay. Now, based on this information, now what can we do? The minimum requirement has been done. So this system also been configured as SSS server. Ansible will log into SSS. Why SSS? Because this is Linux, not Windows. And second thing, in this computer, we can log in remotely. Ansible can also log in remotely behind the scene. Okay. So that part is the minimum requirement. Okay. And this system, we have Ansible core installed. Okay. And sometimes also known as Ansible engine installed. Only last thing we have to do before we go for code and do any changes is automation. One more thing we have to do, we have to set up the inventory. When I say inventory, it contains these information. This one. We know our IP address. We know we have to use this protocol. We know my username and password, but Ansible does not know. Ansible know only one thing, the IP addresses. Okay, can I understand one thing? This system 113. Okay, 113. When you see in the screen, we are into the Ansible controller node. Okay, or manage node. This system only know the IP address. But with the IP address, thing won't work. Okay. For example, if you want to ask Ansible do one thing, go here and install some software or install some package. Okay, we can do with Ansible. How? This command, guys, I created in my last class. Okay, so let me repeat this command very quickly. Even though I will talk a little bit about this command in more detail in some time, but let me run this command very quickly. So we can say Ansible, you have multiple managed node. Do one thing. I don't want you to go to all the computers. I want you to go to this computer. And in this computer, you have to use a module called package, which I want to do something with the software. And the property that I'm going to do here is I want to install the software called HTTPD. The software name. And what I want to do with software, I want the state to be present. Now this command I explained in my last class. I will explain you one more my time today in more detail by some more example. But only thing what I'm trying to tell you here is, okay, I told you in my last class, whenever you're on Ansible, they ask you two things: what you want to achieve and where you want to achieve. How they do, they know how to achieve there. You don't have to tell their respective OS command. Ansible intelligent, they know to install the software in Ubuntu, we use apt-get command. To install the software in Red Hat, we have to use dnf or the yum command. That's what Ansible is intelligent about. But you have to tell your requirement, what you want to do and where you want to do. That's what you have to write in the Ansible command. But right now, if I run this command will fail. So if you see, guys, here, what Ansible is doing, Ansible is trying to go to this IP, but this IP is unreachable. Why this unreachable? If you guys notice here, Ansible behind the scene doing SSS, that's what I was talking about. Internally, they're doing SSS. And by default, they're doing SSS with the root account only. That we can change, I'll show you how only. But what Ansible does not know about, say permission didn't come up, but Ansible does not know the password of the root. This was the fail. Okay. It means by default, Ansible use SS protocol only. It means you don't tell Ansible, that's what they do automatically. Even we can define if you want to change, but we don't need. And Ansible by default login with root account only. We don't have to tell Ansible. If you want to change, we'll change in the future, I'll tell you. but we have to give the password to the Ansible for this IP address, for the root account. And where to give? In the inventory file, in the database. How? So again, we have to open the Ansible configuration file. And somewhere here we do get password. Okay, in my case, the password is Red Hat actually, I've said. Even in the same file, we can give the username also. You want to use root, so they use root. You don't want to give that, to be your choice, but if you want to give, you give the username also. And by default, they use SSL protocol. Maybe you can write, or you don't have to write because by default they use this only. Okay, in the same file, we have to give the username, password, and protocol. But point here is how Ansible come to know which is username, which is password, which is protocol. Because the order is not fixed. You can give any order, any order. You can give the password first and the username second. Okay, so for this, we have to use some keyword here. Okay, by the help of keyword, the Ansible come to know which is username, which is password, and which is protocol. Okay, so keyword is something like this. If this is username, I have to give a username. If this is password, I have to give password. If this is protocol, I have to give protocol here. Something like this kind of keyword you have to give. Okay, the point is, does this keyword is right? I don't know. But Ansible is not created by me, it's created by some developer. They know which keyword they support. But I said, I know the keyword, but I'm trying to give the approach. You don't have to memorize this keyword. Okay, so just go follow the Ansible document. They tell you what is the keyword name, why to memorize, right? So it's pretty simple. I told you in my last class also. So if you search Ansible, okay, inventory, because this is inventory file, okay, enter. Then you can normally get the document for the inventory file. Okay, and in the inventory file, they will tell you lots of syntax and way to write the things, and we'll see more in upcoming classes. Okay, how to build your inventory and more other documents also. Okay, and here in the inventory file, if you go down, they will tell you a lot of syntax. We'll see in upcoming classes. But if you go down, they will tell you what are all keywords they support. Okay, so you can see this some example they give you. Okay, but let me go for entire list, whatever they show you. Okay, so these are the keywords they have. So they say if you want to use the username, the keyword is Ansible_user. Okay, password is Ansible_password. So technically the keyword is not a username. The keyword is Ansible_username. And again, also see one more small thing. See in the document which version document you are seeing, because in some of the version the keyword is different a little bit. Okay, and I want to set the protocol. I told you guys we have a SSL protocol, Win RM protocol, even though we can use Paramiko also just to Win RM. So the connection, how we connect, the protocol name is SSH in my case. This is the keyword we can write. Okay, and password is Ansible_. Sorry, password. So it means if you have any other password, you can change here. If you want to log in other user, we can change here. But right now, for some time, I have to log in with root user only. Okay, root user only, and name the host to connect. So you can write Ansible host, or maybe you can type the IP initially, or maybe you can use as the host also. Ansible. Okay, so per line is a one record. You don't have to give the enter. Per line is one record, one inventory. Okay, that's what we will type here. Okay. In the real world, we don't use the password much. Instead of password, we give a private keys. How to use, we'll see in the upcoming classes. So don't go about, guys, don't think about the security. We don't use the password directly. We use the private keys that won't be visible here. But for some time, to make it simple, I'm using password. Okay. So this is how, guys, how your inventory file look like. Now, this command was showing the error, but if you try to run this command, even though before I run this command, okay, let me come to this computer, okay, where I'm trying to run this command, okay, which is this computer is. So this computer is IP 142. So this is 142 that have private IP 101. Yeah. So in this computer, guys, we don't have SSD software installed. Even though for installing this software, I don't need to come here. Even though I don't need to know who are you, you're Red Hat or Ubuntu. Even though I don't need to know yum or DNF command. Okay. Without coming to this computer, there is my managed node or target node. In this case, this one. Okay. We can control this computer from the controller node with intelligence. Why intelligence? Because in the Ansible, what we are talking about, I need to do something with the software. Okay, we have this module, a software name HTTP, and I want the software to be present. If software is not present, then you have to install it. I don't know, you have to use apt-get command or brew command or yum command. Okay, that's what it is not declared. So Ansible declaring, we want this. Okay, now hit enter. Okay, so basically, guys, this is not host pattern. Why? Because I have to do some small mistake in this file. We don't have to use Ansible host keyword actually. Host keyword we meant for some other purpose. You just type only the IP address. Don't use the host keyword. Or use the host keyword. We'll talk in some time. Okay. Otherwise, everything is right. That was the only reason. Even though better practice, you can use first list. In the list, yeah, this IP is coming up. Nice. And now we can use in the Ansible commands. Okay. Again, guys, there's an error come up. This error should not come. Why this error come up? Again, they say permission denied. Why so? In this computer, I've given the password, right? Let me check the password again. I might have given the different password. Okay. Why this error comes? Maybe I might have, mostly in these cases, normally we do a mistakes. So Ansible user, Ansible underscore pass. I don't know, it may be password. Let me check very quickly. Document, it may be password. Ansible password. Yeah, that was right. Password. Okay. So let me run this command. Now it looks like they're doing something. So from the control node, from one computer, this computer may be in your laptop. Okay, have done something. And I told you that in my last class, any output come in this kind of orange color, it means something they have done for you, something they changed for you. Okay, so you ask them that I want this software to be present. So they figure out in actual case software was not present. So current state is not present, but your desired state is, means what you're looking for is present. So they will convert into the desired state. That's the concept I explained in my last class. Means they will make sure they will install the software for you. Means it was not there, but they installed for you. This is, you can see this change keyword come up and this orange color come up. Even though you can check also from here, change true means something they change for you. And obviously what they change, you can see the software has been installed. Also can confirm there right now, this computer can go. Last time software was not there, but now if you see software has been installed. Who installed? Without coming to this computer, Ansible come and install the software for you. Okay. And one more thing, guys, there's one thing I explained in my last class also. If I run this command again, Ansible is intelligent, they say, whatever you're demanding is already there. So nothing to do, nothing to change. I run successfully, there's no issue with connectivity. But I figure out whatever you're asking is called desired state is already there as a present state. So nothing to do. So I skip this part. Okay, again, if you run, again, they skip the part. So Ansible will save a lot of resources for you. That's what I explained in my last class for you. And guys, this concept I told you in my last class, this is not an idempotent nature. Idempotent. It's not a command, it's a concept name. Ansible work as idempotent. This is a comment I write here. Idempotent. It's a good thing, right? So if you have 1,000 steps to perform, and with the Ansible, if some of the steps already done, Ansible will skip this part to save your resource and time. It's good facility in the Ansible. Okay. So finally, I just want to, this command I explained you already in my last class. I will explain you again one more time. We'll create some great project today. Okay. But I'm using this command to test our setup. And let me do one more small thing. I'll again go to my Ansible inventory node. I'll do the same setup with this IP also. Let me copy and paste this command. And here I'm going to use this IP address because this IP also has the same IP and password. So let me take this IP and paste here. Now both the inventory has been completely done. Okay. So according to Ansible, we have 2 inventories. Okay. Again, better practice is to check. Yeah, inventory. Yeah. Interesting thing is, you might have hundreds of IPs maybe. If you want to configure all the computer with this package, so you don't need to write the IP address, you can use the all keyword here. That's a great thing about Ansible. Normally, maybe like in cell scripting world, if you want to install something in all the computer, you have to write a loop. But here, without using the loop, Ansible has an inbuilt capability like these kind of keywords like all. All means all the inventory you have, 2 computers with thousands of computers, go to all the computers. Okay, use their respective protocols, use their respective IP addresses, use their respective username and password that I put in my inventory file. Okay, and install this software in all the computers. And they figure out in one of the computer is already there. I'm skipping this part. Change force means I don't want to change. But in the other computer in 158, okay, something can be changed. Software was not there, so we install it, we change it. Okay, it means if I run this command again one more time, again they go into all the computer and they found software is there in all the computer, they skip it. It means if I go to this computer, software is installed. I saw in my last demo also. But if I go to this computer also, there's different computer altogether. Without coming to this computer, my software has been installed. So yeah, installed. Okay, that also what I was talking about. Right now we have only 2 managed node, but let's say in your great project, you have hundreds and thousands of computers running. Or maybe you guys working on multi-cloud. Maybe one project, some of the instances working on AWS, some of the instances working on maybe in Azure cloud or GCP cloud. Okay, you don't have to worry about it. From one single Ansible control node, you can configure all the computer in one go. Everybody will configure exactly the same thing. Okay, just you do only create the inventory for them. And this is one of the way to create the inventory. There's some more way to create the inventory. As we progress, we'll talk about. This is what inventory we create. Every IP might have different username, different password, different way to connect. This is why we have these keywords. Right now, in my case, I've given the same password is different point, but whatever you have, you can put there. Okay, so inventory has been created. So technically, this setup, guys, has been done very, very smoothly. Right now, let's start the main topic for today. Okay, we just created the setup, and this setup we're going to use a lot. Okay, now let's start the main topic for today. How we can use Ansible to set up the entire project or to configure the entire project. Okay, because the way I configure right now, it is not automation. Okay, it is more look like we configure all the computer together. Maybe this part might look like automation, but this is more like intelligence. That is not the automation. What I mean by this, I'll explain you in a minute. Okay. So let's go for automation part, and then you can see the actual power of the Ansible. Okay, actual power of Ansible. Before this, I have very quick and important announcement for you that you guys know already, but I want to tell you one more time. Okay, so almost guys, everyone has registered with Red Hat official training program of Ansible. That's called RS294. Okay, this program. Okay, not this, with this program. And with the official program, guys, you also registered with, when you register with this official program, mostly you guys also register with EX294. So this is the training program to RS294, and EX294 is a global certification exam from the Red Hat. So after this program, your outcome would be 294, this global examination. Okay, this one. So what I'm trying to tell you here is, okay, just very quick information about what exactly we as a Linux World is doing here. Okay, so guys, what we are doing here right now, this price has been removed from this Red Hat portal. I don't know why. Okay, but actual training fee of this training, official training from Red Hat, that they posted here in this website, is around 40,000 rupees, Indian currency I'm talking about, INR. Okay, this was the official price of Reddit, and we, the partners of Reddit in India, we have a lot of partners. Mostly they give because of whatever we get from the Reddit. We normally offer from 15,000 to 20,000 INR. That's the market price for training of Ansible. Official training I'm talking about. Okay. And the actual price of examination is fixed. That is posted in the Red Hat portal is 16,500 INR. This is the official training fee for this examination, what I'm talking about. And it's very, very important to have this certification in the portal or in your portfolio. Okay, so why I'm giving this information, you know already, maybe, I don't know, you don't know this. Okay, but due to lots of reasons, we are running a campaign from last couple of weeks, I can say, in the Linux world. And what we are doing to help and support, okay, we are giving this training is almost free. Almost free. Okay, so that everyone can upgrade their knowledge in this kind of very critical tool to enhance their skills, their knowledge. Okay, and they're capable to work on some real big projects, or those who are not getting the job, this tool will help them to quickly get the job, especially in the automation world or DevOps world. Okay, this one thing. Second thing is, this price is a fixed price from the Red Hat as a global examination to all the partners of Red Hat. But we from the Linux world is providing as sponsorships. Okay, because maybe not for everyone this prices can be, they can afford this price for paying for the examination. So almost, I think around maybe more and less 50% fee we as a Linux was sponsoring. And literally we are sponsoring. Most of part we'll take the help from Red Hat. There's a different point. They're also helping us a lot. Okay, so thanks to Red Hat. So I can say Red Hat plus Linux world, but it's a better way to say is or sponsoring 50% of your amount. So I think this may be 8,400 plus around fee you have to give for this global examination. So I'm just trying to tell you guys, those who have registered with this examination, I think you might have pay something like this, and with this we are also giving this free, entire free this program, because I've seen guys in last couple of my older batches and some few batches, and especially the batches that we give in the corporate world. Okay, so in the corporate world they're charging a lot. I think per person they're charging 25-30K for 1,000 in INR for training and examination. That's what they're charging in the corporate world. Okay, but in Linux world, guys, we keep on coming with a lot of campaign in multiple different trainings, programs, and a lot of initiatives of us. So making it a future ready on 100 more. Okay. To support it so that anybody can learn these kind of bigger tools, either free or minimal cost. Okay. And plus mostly the global exams, not in Red Hat, if you go to Cisco or AWS, well, they are charging a lot, whatever their policy would be. But we are trying our best. Whatever the help, the support we can do as a Linux world, we are trying to do so that anybody can quickly certify them. Because certification is very, very critical, because a lot of company corporate, if they apply for the job, one of the key they ask, do you have the certification or not? Or maybe in the work in the company get our projects from other XYZ client. Again, they have some kind of basic compliance. If your team is not certified, we don't provide a certificate. We need minimum these many number of certifications in your team, then only you guys eligible for projects. So technically, certification is very, very required. So it's kind of must, but nobody can afford, mostly the individual, mostly to support, we are helping them from our side. Okay, and I think most of you guys have been registered already. Just to give you knowledge, why? Because a lot of guys think, because when my team, our team connect, they feel how come it's so less. Okay, does it is some kind of spam or some kind of, that's what sometimes we got the feedback. But now if you guys here in this live training, so you might know it's not kind of spam or not kind of this kind of things. So right now you're learning this live training. After this training complete, we also guys give you, that's not a part of none of the Reddit training. We also give you the exam, those who are going for examination, exam bootcamp to you, prepare you, again free for you. We don't charge for the bootcamp also. And then you will go for examination after this training completed. Okay, under this. Okay, so there's one thing. And by chance, if those who are just joining as a training, so they can also upgrade themselves in the examination part. Okay, because this is one of the kind of, I've never seen this kind of price from Red Hat, right? But we are providing us as a great course, right? So those who just only on the just Ansible training, so it's good to go for this global training, because it's not only about the training, right? Give the labs, books, for practicing, exam coupon, what are free, tons of things they're providing. Okay, and we are providing the support to providing you some sponsorship, right? So that's what. So just wanted to give you this information. Those who want to upgrade, those who are not there still in the examination, they can upgrade. What are the differential fees would be, my team will help you. Or those who almost, I think everyone is part of Reddit examination. Just to tell you, okay, what the next world is doing behind the scene. Okay, that's all. So let's come and discuss our main concept, right? So if you guys want to use Ansible, it is for the configuration management. But there's two way Ansible can configure the thing for you. One as a manual way and one as automated way. Okay, the way I'm using right now is manual way, because we type the command manually and doing our stuff, what you want to configure. Okay, if you want to do one or two things, then typing this command manually do the things. Makes sense. Okay, but if you want to perform hundreds of steps again and again and again, then doing manual does not make sense. It will waste the time. It will slow down the things. Well, then we have to move to automation. And that's what we do today. But before I move to automation, okay, in the automation, guys, we have to write a code. And that code we write in a file, because coding we always write a file. They are mostly known as program files. Okay, and I told you guys in my last class also, the program file is known as playbook in the Ansible. So to create a playbook. So we'll see today how to create a playbook. But before we move to the playbook, let's do some more thing in the manual way. Let's feel the manual first. Let's see, we have to do things again and again. It might something annoying. So let's feel that part. And then then after this, we move to playbook or play. That makes more sense. Okay. So let's do first something more about manual. But yeah, if you use manual automation, okay, in both the cases, Ansible will give you the intelligence. Intelligence is always there. And what intelligence? I told you in my last class. That is also known as RAL, Resource Abstraction Layer. I explained you already. Again, in the last class, right? So let's first focus on manual part, right? Again. So for this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create one small project here. Okay, project is very simple. I would like to configure Apache is a product name or company name, web server. This is what I want to configure. How? Not manually, not with self-scripting, with the help of Ansible. Okay. Now, just understand one thing. This concept is very important. What I'm going to explain to you. If you understand this concept, I can give the guarantee. Just I need around 30 minutes of yours. Okay. And in this 30 minutes, what I'm going to explain you, if you understand this concept, okay, you can do anything and everything from the Ansible. Whichever thing you want to configure, from devices to router to servers to database servers to mail server to Windows server, if you follow these steps or this process what I have designed for you, you can do anything from the Ansible in the world of configuration management. Okay. So what are these steps? The steps is pretty simple. Okay. You should know first what you want to achieve. Let's say in my case, I want to configure the Apache is a company name that has a one protocol HTTPD is a product. By this product, I want to configure and set up the web server. Okay. And you know one more thing, Ansible know how to do because of the intelligence. But Ansible does not know what to do. Okay. You have to tell the Ansible what to do. Means you tell the Ansible, I want to configure Apache web server. But again, this is not what to do. This is what your goal is. That you know. You don't have to tell the Ansible. Okay. How to configure means what to do while you want to configure Apache web server. My point is, okay, if you want to configure Apache web server, okay, every company, every team had different steps to perform. Okay. Ansible does not know your steps, how many steps you need, what you want to do, okay, to configure the Apache web server. What I mean by this, okay, just for example, okay, if you want to configure web server, let's forget about this line. If you want to configure web server, this is your ultimate goal, your final goal. To set up the to set up the web server, which software you want to install, Ansible does not know. Okay, because in the market, there are a lot of software available in the market. For example, if you say Ansible, I want to set up the media server, or media player. You want to install M player or VLC player. Which software you want to install? How Ansible know? Similarly, if you want to configure the web server, you need to install the software. Which software you want to install? We don't know. You have to tell the Ansible. Ansible, I want to install HTTPD software. Okay. Only you have to give this information to the Ansible. Information is Ansible, I want to install this software. That's all. This is what the information you have to give to Ansible. Information is simple. What to do? I want this software to be installed. So where you want to reach, you have certain steps that you know what steps you want to follow. Second thing, because this is web server, And website, what we do, we put the web pages, website, web app. Then you have to give that web page to Ansible. You have to give the web page. So Ansible, I have this web page. I'm giving this web page to you. Okay. What you have to do, you have to copy the web page into your server. Obviously, Ansible does not know which page you want to deploy or which page you want to run inside the system. This page you have to provide. The Ansible know how to copy there. Third step is, okay, obviously this server, if you want to use the server, you want to start the services, you want to run the services, you want to execute the services. You tell the Ansible that I want to execute the services of my server. Okay, so point is, in project to project, team to team, whatever you want to configure, you have a different steps to follow. Okay, somebody has a 2-3 steps here. In my case, your case, you have hundreds and thousands of steps. You have to tune the system, you have to set the SC index, you have to set the permissions, you have to set the memory caches management, you have to set up, update the kernel, you have to update the drivers, you have to put the firewall rules, you have to go inside the conf file to do some changes. Okay, whatever you normally do in set up the servers, those steps you will tell the Ansible. This is one step to do, second step to do, third step to do in the same order. Okay, then Ansible do this thing for you. Okay, but let me add one more point here. For example, in the first step, I want to do something on install it. What I want to do, I want to install a software. And guys, software is also known as package. You should be very clear to the Ansible that I want to install the package. You should have this information. Which package? This package. Then here you tell, I want to copy the pages. Okay, which page? Let's say my page name is index.html, it's my web page. Or let's say my page name would be, let's say, wiml.web page. So this page my developer created. I want to copy this page into server. So when server where? Server is one entire OS. In this OS where? Which folder? So you should know one more knowledge, because you are going to install this software. And whoever created the software, they say, if you want to put your web pages or copy your web pages, you do always copy inside this folder. Ansible does not know about this. Okay, what to do, you have to learn. But how to copy, Ansible will do for you. The idea is very simple. My point here is we are running our code of the Ansible from this folder, this system, right? Where it is 1 minute. I'm here. So if I say Ansible copy this page, Ansible know how to copy from here till here. We copy from one computer to other computer, we have different commands available. We might have WinSCP command or SCP command or rsync command, hundreds more command available. But you don't have to use this command. Ansible know how to copy. But you have to tell Ansible we want to copy. For this, you should know what your steps is. Every requirement, we have different steps. In this requirement, my page may be this one, maybe. And I have to copy to my server in this folder. Why this folder? Because I know about some of this software, and according to my knowledge, we know my server will read the web pages or web app from this folder only. And you guys know one more term here. When you copy web app into a respective folder, it's also known as deploy. I want to deploy this web page here in this folder. And third step is, I know I want to do something on my servers. I want to start my services. Okay. But for this, you should not tell the service which service you want to start. The service name, HTTPD. Because we know my software name is this one. Inside the software, this is the service name come up. My name is same, but it's two different things: the software name and the service name. In some software, service name may be different. Ansible does not know. You tell which service to start. Okay. So there's one more. So this information you should have with you and tell Ansible, now this is what I want to do. According to my step number 1, this is step number 2, this is step number 3. After you collect this information, either as an Ansible DevOps kind of engineer, you know already, or if you don't know, you can talk with your web server team. They will tell you this is what we normally want. So they give this information to you. Okay, but we don't require to know the yum command here. To install the software in Red Hat, we use yum command. I don't require to know this. Okay, because here the role of Ansible come in play. Ansible is intelligent for this. Because in the Ubuntu command is different. So how to do is the skills of the Ansible. You don't have to worry about it. How to copy file here and there, Ansible know it. How to start services. Because I told you in my last class, in Red Hat 6, this command is a service command. In Red Hat 7, the command change. Systemctl command, 7, 8, and 9. In Ubuntu, maybe command is different. So this is skills of the Ansible. They know how to do it. That's what the concept of RHEL come in play, or the intelligence of Ansible come in play, what I was talking about. Okay. So my point here is, whatever you want to configure, or I want Ansible to manage the configuration management, try to create this kind of document, maybe rough document. Try to create it. Write down your steps. Get the information, what you want to do, which software, which file name, where to copy, what service name, which firewall to allow, which port to allow, which memory you want to manage or tuned, whatever you have. Okay, then, after you collect the entire information, then convert this information into the Ansible way of understanding. And how Ansible understand? Very simple. Okay, Ansible say, I understand something like this. Let's something like this. Like Ansible. You tell me by the Ansible command. And I understand only one thing. You have to be very clear, you want to do something on the software, or you do something on the services, you do something on the copying here and there. So tell me, whatever you want to achieve, for everything, I have the modules available. Okay. For example, if you go to again the internet, as Ansible, I want to do something on the packages. Okay, package means software. Do you have any module? They say yes, I have. For everything, I have the modules available. Okay, every module has a name. For example, this module has a name called package. Okay, it means if your requirement is to do something on the software, that's called package. You want to update the software, install the software, uninstall the software, whatever you want to do with the packages or software, I have the module available package. How I know the name? This document will tell the name. Package is a module. And to tell the module, you have to use option M. But every module comes with the properties or the attributes or the parameters. It's same thing. Okay. Then tell me the parameters. Parameter means in the software, what you want to do. You have to install, uninstall. And with software, VLC, HTTPD, Nginx, MySQL database, software name. So tell me your attributes. Here the name means tell the package name. So name here would be, in my case, is HTTPD. Or at the same time, every software comes with a version. Tell me the version also. Which version to install? 2.2, 2.3. Here I'm not going to giving the software name. So whatever the default software they have, they will install for you. Then this information, what I collected, I give in this way. But what I want to do with this software, you want to install it? Okay, then tell me how. We have a keyword option called state. Tell me on install and install. For installing, give the keyword called present. Then your attribute name or property name is state. And what you want to do, let's say on present. And because you have multiple attributes, you put all the attributes in double quotes with the sum spaces. So this is called key and value. And this is called property and the value. Some value I give you in the document that I only support present and remove, absent or latest, means the latest one, update this. Or some value you tell me because your software name is, I don't know. I can give the syntax, but tell me what software you want to install. That's what. So after collecting this information, convert this information in the way that Ansible support. And guys, Ansible always take two things from you. Okay, tell me what you want to do, which type of things you want to perform. You want to do on software, services, firewall, copying. For every purpose, every use cases, we have the modules available. And in this module or in that part, what you want to achieve. You install the software, which software. You copy the file, which file. You want to start the services, which file, service. Okay. And finally, in Ansible, you will tell one more thing. How to do and where to do. Okay. Normally, Ansible setup mode look like this. We always has a control node. Okay. And control node is going to manage some computers. Where to do means tell me the IP addresses. Which IP you want to confirm or which inventory you want to perform. You want to perform all. Mostly we don't want to perform all, but let's say in all, can use all. So that's what, guys, based on this information, this command I already run, but let me run one more time. But this information, okay, whatever we collected, we will run this command, and that's all. Command created. So this is step number 1. Whatever I write is converted into this step and run this step in our control node. How? Manually type it. This is called manual. We'll convert into the automation. But for creating the automation, this is the minimum requirement you have. If you don't have the command, then converting this command into the automation, that's called playbook, we can't perform. First, you should have the command, then converting this command into automation will be very, very simple. So let's say this is our goal. In the goal, we have to perform 3 steps. Step number 1 has been done. Let's move to step number 2. Let's say step 2, what knowledge we have. We have this file. Who created? My developer created. Let's say in my controller node, okay, let's say in some of my photo, maybe here, some developer has created this file, put some web pages. I am Vimal. That's all. My developer creates some of this kind of web pages, maybe contain a lot of code. Let's say this file created. Where this file? This file right now at my controller node. I'm here. Now, what is my motto? My motto is to transfer this file from here to here. From one Linux to Linux or Linux to Windows. Now, do you know how to copy file from Linux to Linux? Maybe you know, you might not know. You know how to copy file from Linux to Windows. Maybe you don't know, or maybe you know. But we don't. Windows. Now, do you know how to copy file from Linux to Linux? Maybe you know, you might not know. You know how to copy file from Linux to Windows. Maybe you don't know, or maybe you know. But we don't know. Required to know. This is the duty of the Ansible. The only thing you tell the Ansible is, I want to copy the file. And Ansible, guys, actually will do the thing with the help of module. Module is the one who will tell the Ansible what to do. Okay. So just again check and search. Do you have Ansible module that I want to copy something local to remote, something like that? Do you have any module? Okay. Maybe mostly the first link you see, and they're very clear. We have a copy module. They help us to copy file to a remote location. That's what we're looking for. So module name is what? Copy. So copy is the module name. Every module give you attributes. Okay. Now what to copy? So we have some local file in my computer. I want to copy here. Just go and check what are the attributes they have. Okay. And if you see the attribute, what you will find that where you want to copy the destination. Okay. So we can use destination here. And the destination we can give where you want to copy. In my case, I know this. And how I know this? Again, Ansible never tell you. You know where you want to copy, which folder you want to copy. Because I know something about a web server, or maybe a web server guys will tell me, we'll always deploy the file in this folder. You copy here. So based on this knowledge, you tell the Ansible I want to copy here. Okay, but what to copy? So I have some file. So again, you read this entire document and slowly become flexible with this. They will tell the source, local file in your system. So the source is a keyword here. And file name is Vimmer Recipe. That's what. So this information I convert into Ansible way where the Ansible understand. And now Ansible understand, I want to copy something. Because I want to copy, so I know my local file. I want to copy to a remote system. But where do we want to run it? Let's say all keyword and all the inventory nodes. Copy. And let's run it. This file I already have in the system. So I tell my Ansible, whatever file you have in the current system, or maybe you can get the path also, my local path. Copy this file to this folder, where in all the computers. Now it does not matter that all the computers, Windows or Linux, Ansible know how to copy. Okay, so Ansible duty is to do the things for you. Ansible know how to copy. You don't have to tell SCP command or some other command or rsync command. But only thing that Ansible does not know what you want to achieve. You have to tell in this way. Or I can say you have to declare in this way. But before I guys run this command, let me go to these computers. Okay, in this computer, you will see in this folder, right now we have nothing. Or I can go to my other computer also. These are my inventory nodes. Not inventory, I can say my manage node. Nothing. But just by running one single command, you see guys, Ansible will copy an orange color command. Change means something copied. This was change, something copied. And now just by one single command, this file will copy it here also in this computer, and this file is will copied here also in this computer with same content, right? What I have copied, created. Okay, this is what I want to achieve. I achieved. Similarly, this is what I planned. I want to do something on services. Who will do? Ansible. So let's ask the Ansible. Ansible, can you do something on the services world? Means, do you have any modules? Ansible, yes, we have some module for services. What's the name? Service module. And Ansible built-in module. There's some module that we can create outside. We can go from outside. How we'll see. But it's a service module. So again, this information will be converting into Ansible, and want to run, let's say on all the computer. My module name is what? Service. And again, we have to give some properties. Okay. And if you goes down, you can see the parameter. But always, guys, okay, so you have to give the service name because hundreds of services there. Which server to run? Name keyword and service name HTTP. Who give this name? Your admin guys who know about server. But who give this keyword? Ansible documents. And what you want to do with service? State. You want to restart, started, stopped, multiple choices you have. Okay. So I want this service to be start. I can't use start. My document will tell me because Ansible is not created by me. Neither is a module. This guy will tell me the keyword I support is not a started keyword to start the things. Okay, so keyword is started or value is started. That's all. Okay, so this information I convert into Ansible kind of code, Ansible command. And guys, I told you in my last class, the Ansible command that you run are known as ad hoc commands. Okay, so this command that I'm running manually typing, I can say. Okay, it's known as ad hoc commands. Okay, so before I run this command, let me again go to my manage node, and this is a command you might know. If I run systemctl status, in this case, service is down, inactive. By saying I know how to start service, but I don't want to start manually. Same thing if I go to this computer also, there's a different computer, status HTTP again is down. Or because it is down, so anybody in the world who want to see my website For example, this computer by chance we hosted in AWS cloud. And by chance my cloud give us the IP addresses, the public IP addresses. Okay, if I go to this computer and right now if I try to hit this IP address, because public IP, you guys can also try and try to hit this page, you can't see my website. Okay, even though we go to the next node also. Okay, in this IP, we are going to host the page called web.html. You can't see the website because my server not started. So both the servers is down because my server is stopped. But just by Ansible, this command, they go to all the computers. Right now we only 2 computers, and we can see orange color. It means in all the computer. Okay, you can see those things is coming up, but all the computers change true. They started the service this name. It means if I refresh this page, you can see guys, you give the output, right? Now anybody in the world, because by chance we have public IP, so anyone in the world can see exactly same website. Both the servers is going to show you the same website. Even though you can also go and check manually. Last time the service was inactive, was active. Here also guys active. Okay, so based upon the requirement, okay, things convert. And guys, I can give the guarantee, if you follow this process, you will see whatever you want to do in Ansible world, you can achieve it. The most important thing is to know the responsibility of the Ansible and the responsibility of yours. Okay, as Ansible guy, your responsibility is to create this command. Plus, you are also responsible to collect this information also, steps also, your end goal also. Now for this, because you want to configure web server, either you learn web server, then collect this information, or maybe you can contact to these guys, they will tell you the steps. That's what you have to figure out. Your team, your project has to figure out. But till the time you don't collect this information, it is impossible in any of the automation tool, does not matter the select scripting or the kind of this intent tool like Ansible, Puppet 7, and other salt stack to create these steps. It's impossible. Okay. There's some more concept called Galaxy come up. They will give you some quick way to do the things without knowing this knowledge also. Even though we don't have the knowledge, we can do. There's a different point. What are those? We'll see. But this is the core concept we should know. Okay. Now, what we created, according to a requirement, we do things. And again, though, because Ansible is idempotent in nature, it means if you run this service again, they say it's already running, they tested. They say nothing to do, or green color. Okay. Even though if you try to copy the file again, they say you already copied. Okay. I successfully connected, nothing to change. But Ansible is smart. By chance in one of your server, a file been removed. Okay. So obviously client won't able to see it. Not see it. Okay. So you can see one server is not showing the file, some other server is showing the file. Okay. So just run Ansible. They will make sure everything will sync. They will set up every server the same way. See, they find out in this system nothing to change, but in this system something to change. Something has been removed. And they make sure they will recreate this file. So everybody have been sync. Or it is not only about this file removed. Maybe we have the file come up, but by chance the content of the file may change. Let's say somebody by chance go to their server manually, change this file. Because they change the file, the client can see the wrong copy of it. But just by running the Ansible, they detect the change. This change something known as drift. They detected the drift. So according to server, okay, they change. They see this system has no changes, but here this system something changed. So they re-update this file. So guys, here re-update this file here. Again, you can see this file I changed manually, but now again they re-updated. I mean, reset this file. Okay, so this is a possibility, guys, sometime, because normally what happen when we run our servers in the companies, right? We don't run one single server. Same web server, same app we run in multiple computers because of the load balancing. So I want every system has same copy running, same site running, same copy exactly. Okay, otherwise what happen? Maybe first my client will connect this, they'll see a different website. Again, same client will connect this in the world of bigger setup or load balancing world. They'll see a different copy. I don't want this. I don't want any kind of drift. Exactly same will seen by everyone, everywhere. Okay, so just by running these commands, where it is, okay, any drift happen, any change happen, they will reset it for you. Okay, so they make sure in all the computer the setting is exactly same. That's what we want. Okay, now based on this information, now what I'm trying to tell you guys here is, now whatever you want to configure your app server like Tomcat or JBoss or WebSphere or database server, Cassandra, MySQL or MongoDB, okay, anything you want to set up and configure, just try to create these steps and convert one by one, the way I explained you. We'll see more example on this. Okay, now if you try to, guys, write down the steps here, only the main steps. So this is the first step you want to do in this example. Second step you have to do in this example. Third step that you do in this example. Okay, but right now if you just focus on these steps, these are more look like a commands of Linux. Means manually, for example, in the future, if you want to start service, you would again type this command and run it. Again, you do copy, again type the command, run it. And right now, these are the only 3 steps. Most in the servers setup config, you have hundreds of steps to be done. Okay, so that is a reason, even though we are using Ansible intelligence, we don't have to tell how to start service, we don't have to tell how to store the packages. They automatically figure out your underlying OS commands. But we're using the Ansible intelligence, okay, but we are doing the things here how manually. This is called ad hoc commands. 2 or 3 things you want to do, that's okay, but hundreds of things you want to configure and steps in one goal, it will a lot of time wastage. Okay, so same intelligence I want to use, but here in the automation world. For this, you have to create a code, and that code is called playbook. So this commands, ad hoc commands, I want to convert into the playbook. How? After you have the command, the converting this command into playbook as a code is so simple, nothing very tedious. Okay, but before I create a playbook, I just want to tell you one very small thing. Ansible don't use any programming languages. You don't need to know Java and C and C++ something like that, Python. Okay, in Ansible, if you want to write a code or program file, they use one syntax that you have to follow, and the syntax comes from a language called YAML. It's not as a programming language, but Ansible use a syntax from a language. This is called YAML. It's called yet another markup language, sometimes also known as yet IND. Means it's not only markup language, you can do much more. Markup language. So Ansible use the syntax of YAML language. If you don't know YAML language, you can't create the code. And not Ansible, there's a lot of other tools on the market. They use this syntax. So mostly, guys, in the automation world, almost all the automation tools, maybe in the cloud, maybe in the DevOps world, mostly, not always, not all, mostly they use YAML syntax. Okay, so if you know YAML syntax, then converting this part So this part is very, very simple. Okay. So maybe guys, you don't know about YAML. Let me very quickly explain you the YAML in 5 minutes. And then we will convert into the playbook. Okay. So let me explain you the YAML first. So for this, what I'm going to explain you, very quick information to explain you what is a YAML. So Ansible will create their playbook into the YAML way. So what is YAML? So guys, give me 1 minute, please. I'll come back. Okay, then we'll continue with the YAML. Today, guys, I just need 15 more minutes for today's class. And after 15 minutes, we will have our playbook ready. Then we'll conclude the class. But just give me 1 minute break first. Quickly, or 5 minutes maybe. Okay, so under YAML, we can take one interesting example here. Let's say there's two different computers connected using the network. Let's say this IP1, this IP2. You guys might know two computers that don't connect directly only with the IP address. Okay, normally program running inside this computer, process running inside this computer will connect. So let's say this is running with program number A and this is running with program or process number B. Or let's say this process want to send some data to program B. Let's say the data is Vimal. Let's say data is 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say data is 555. So let's say 55 is the mobile number, this ID is the name. When this data will go via network in network packet, reach to program B. Now program B duty is to pick this data, and out of this data, they will pick the mobile number and send the SMS. Now here the challenge is how program B come to know. Let's say by looking at the name, it look like a name, but how they come to know this is the mobile number or this is the mobile number? How they know? Because both are numbers. So they confuse. That is the reason what this program, both the program will decide, do one thing. Before you send any data, always store this data in some name, more like a variable name. Give this data a name, let's say name variable. Give this data a name called ID variable. Give this data a name called phone variable. So always associate a data with some name. In this case, this name is mostly known as key. And this is mostly known as data or the value. This is called key value pair. Okay. But whatever name you give, same name I should also know. So I should know what name means. I should know what ID means. I should know what phone means. So when any data come to me, I will look for this key phone because we both mutually decided what the phone means. I look for this key, I retrieve this value and use this value for sending the SMS or mail or WhatsApp, whatever it would be. It means if these two programs want to communicate with each other, send data, they have to mutually agree with some keys, and we always send the data with these keys. Okay. In this example, this program B in my case is Ansible controller node. Ansible controller node. It means if you want to give any information to Ansible controller node, let's say I want to install this package, I want to start this services, I want to apply on this host or the inventory. Okay. Ansible controller node will understand with the keys. And there was a key here. It is. So there's a key. I want to install this software. How they know? Use this key. I want to install the software, this one. How they know? With the key. So there's a key value pair. Okay, and what is this? Who is this program? This is V. What a key Ansible support? We have to use same key only. Okay, when Ansible control node say I have support phone, but if you say the mobile instead of phone, they won't able to work it. So what a key they support? Same key we have to use. How we know this key? We will take the help of documents, right? That's what we use the document. What Ansible control node use the key. This is one information. It means we're always stored the information key value pair. That's what you can see here. Almost we can see key value pair, key value pair. Okay. But now what is YAML here? The general concept. Okay. Ansible say if you want to give a key value pair, then give this key value pair not in any format. Means it is not like this. You can give name space Vimal, or it is not like this. Your name equals to Vimal. Okay, you have to use some standard format. Okay, means should we use space? Should we use equals to? Should we use colon? Okay, to differentiate key value pair, what syntax we use? Space, equals to, or colon. We do use some standard format that everybody support, everybody understand. We know key value pair, but what syntax we have to follow? So here we, as a program A, here this program B is called Ansible. Both say we have to use some fixed standard formats, some fixed markup language, and this is called YAML. And according to YAML, you have to use key, then colon, then some space, then your volume. This is what the standard of YAML. And guys, this is called YAML language. That's all. Nothing special. Means whatever information you give in this format. There's a phone number, phone, then colon, then phone number. Okay, so this first key value pair, this YAML. The second key value YAML. In YAML, we can do one more thing. It's not compulsory, because YAML is a value more look like a string. You have to give into double quotes or single quotes. It's not compulsory, but it's good practice to give here. Okay, but there's some more cases also come up where you want to give somebody a name. Let's say you want to give some info of books, and there are a lot of books. Let's say book of Java, book of PHP, book of Python. Okay, so as normally in the programming world, if one variable contains multiple values, so mostly we put in the list or the array, and normally we give comma in between. That's what mostly we do in the programming language. So it's like a list or the array, and these are values. But in the YAML world, if any key or the variable contains multi-value, we don't use the syntax. Instead, every value is called element or the item. We normally write in this way. Next line, you write hyphen. We don't have to use comma here. Next line, you have to use hyphen. Next line, you have to use hyphen. So if any variable or the array or the list contain multiple values or item, every item we use hyphen. So this hyphen means this item number 1, item number 2, or element number 3. And this hyphen also tell you the books is not the normal variable, it is a list, is an array. It contains multiple values. So your name is has only single value. Phone has single value, means phone is like a normal variable. A book is also variable. Here is called key, but it is a list. The data type or data structure of this book is list. They contain multiple values, and this is the first, second, third, fourth values. So this also got syntax in the in the YAML. And one more last syntax is, okay, sometime like in most programming language, let's say we create one function, we write in the curly braces. Okay, and here we write, let's say x equals to 5, y equals to 10, z equals to 100, for example. Okay, so this block means this block start here, and there's a statement, there's block end here. Okay, so LW is a one function, this is a 3 statement. Okay, so we write a block to tell these are the 3 statements. Okay, but in some programming language, you don't have to write a block. Without block also you write. But how you come to know, okay, how you come to know that after this line, these are the block of code of this function, or this loop, or this if, whatever the block of, wherever you use the block of code. So in some programming language, to tell this is a block of code, we give some spaces. Okay, So this space says if we have continuous space come up after this name close, after this for loop we start, if we start, or function we start. After this, we have some space come up. The space tell from here block start. And if everybody has same space, this space also known as indent. After everybody has same indentation, then till here, this is the block of code. Means after this, you write something else. Let's say m equals 20. Because they're not start with the same block of code. So they don't start with same spaces. Okay, it means this is not the part of this function block or this for loop block. So wherever you guys use block of code in any programming language, we know. Okay. So in some programming language, if you guys by chance know Python, for example, in Python, we use this syntax. We don't use curly braces, start and curly braces close. To tell this 3 statement or 3 lines is a block of code of this keyword or this clause, we give the spaces here. Or you give the same spaces. If you give more space or less space, it will fail. Every line, every statement of this function, we have to give same block of, so same indentation, same spaces. I'm just explaining here the basic concept here. Is we don't have a function in YAML, but this is a concept of block of code. Any block of code that is part of your block of code, maybe from here till here, to tell we give these spaces. We don't have to use curly braces now. This is called indentation. Similarly, in YAML, okay, this book is a variable, and these are the value of it. Okay, so we don't have to use curly braces here. We have to use indent. Indent means, okay, we have to give some spaces here. For example, space maybe 1. If you give 1 space here, so everybody start with 1 space only. Okay, by giving this space, it look like these values are the block of code of book. Okay, if I give 2 spaces, everybody should have 2 spaces only. By chance, if you give 3 spaces, it will give fail, or they might behave another way. Okay, so there's a lot of examples come up. We'll discuss that point in time. Okay, this is just one of the examples I'm talking about, but there's some more example gonna come up where you have to write one big name and that contains some block of code. To tell that is their block of code, that under their block of code, we have to give the space or indent. It won't work in this way. For example, I start from here and the block of code go outside. You write book here, and then their block of code will start either in the same parallel line or some internal space. They don't work, otherwise we fail. Okay, so it's a very, very rough explanation here, especially this part, because I want to show you when some particular code gonna come up. But this is what the YAML concept is about. It's not only for Ansible, it is just general concept anywhere. Wherever you use YAML, this is what the syntax we have to follow. But you practice more, you become more comfortable on it. But even though after multiple examples come up, you become comfortable on it. So based on this basic information of YAML, we'll talk more about it. Let me very quickly jump to our code. So this is the Ansible normal ad hoc commands. Now I want to convert this ad hoc command in the playbook. How to do? First of all, in the playbook, we don't have to use Ansible command because this is not a command. This is a code. We don't have to use Ansible commands. Okay. And because all the commands is going to run in, also all the modules is going to run in one single computers, all. So you don't have to type again and again. Okay, just type once, all. You don't have to type again and again. Okay. All means all computers, all inventory. Maybe you can write IP also. Okay. Here, all means all the computers, all the host. To tell Ansible, we are going to run these module in all the hosts. Then we have a host keyword here. Host is keyword and all is the value. So we use colon. From where the host keyword come from? it is supported inside this program. To tell the Ansible controller that I want to run my code in all the computer or maybe some specific IP address. To tell this is a value. We have to use this keyword, this fixed keyword from the Ansible. But because this is a YAML file, so you use key value pair, key, colon, then maybe one space, then the value. Okay. Now, according to Ansible, this is the package. This is a package. This is a module. Every module is doing one task for you. So task 1, task 2, task 3. Or you can say step 1, step 2, step 3. Okay. So for this, we have a one keyword available in the Ansible. This is called task keyword. Task keyword. And how many tasks you're doing? 3 tasks. Task 1, task 2, task 3. And I told you guys, whenever you have anything more than one, it's more like a list. So we list of tasks. And every element is not by hyphen. Okay, so here guys, we don't have to use M keyword. M keyword we normally use the command line. We don't have to use command line here. Okay, so these are the multiple tasks. So task 1, task 2, task 3. To tell these are tasks, or list of tasks, use a hyphen. Hyphen here. Okay, so task is more like a key, and these are the values. Or task is more like a list, and these are the values. So the task 1, task 2, task 3. So element 1, element 2, element 3. This is what we use a hyphen here. Okay. But here package is the task name and this is the attribute of this task. So in the YAML world, we don't use the A here. Instead of A, we can use column. So this is a key again, and this is the value. Again, copy is a key, then this is a value. Serve is a key, and the value. That's what guys, completed. We'll see this example multiple times. You become more comfortable on it. But this is what guys, how your playbook look like. Where you tell only 2 things. That's what he was talking about, right? In Ansible, you tell 2 things. Okay. What you want to perform is called task that you write inside the task keyword. Second thing, where you want to perform. Host, you write inside the host keyword. Maybe you want to perform, let's say, an IP address 1.2.3 per hour. Okay. And one more thing I want to add here. I want to add here. 1 minute. Let me go for black screen behind the scene. So focus more on this key. Yeah. Okay. There's some possibility. Maybe some tasks I want to perform here. Some different tasks I want to perform with other computers. So I can copy paste this. Copy and paste. Let's say this is the one of the other inventory. 2.2. I don't have, but let's say I'm just randomly typing this. So in this host, I want to install this software. In this host, I want to install software called, let's say, VLC player. I want to do only one thing there. Okay. So in one file, the file is called program file known as playbook. Okay, we can also write this in one single playbook. We can type this IP go and perform 3 tasks. This IP go and perform only one single task. Okay. So technically, in one playbook per host, we can do multiple things. And technically, this is not a play. So this is one play. This is second play. And that is not a playbook. It's a book of plays. Okay. So we can define in this host, or we can give range also. Range means multiple host name also. 3.3.3.3. Sorry. So in this true computer or true host, run this task. In this host, run this task. Okay. So whatever you type here, per host, in one host keyword, what task you run? This entire box is known as play. This is play number 1. This is a play number 2. Like this, we can run multiple plays. That is the reason it is known as playbook. Okay. And because we can run multiple play, or we can run multiple play, okay, or list of play, that is, guys, this host is also element of the list. Okay, so it's also, guys, one of the element, because you get multiple hosts, right? So the first play, second play, or list of play, list of one, so item number one, item number two. And because this whole task is a part of the host, so it should become in the same intent, otherwise they can fail. Again, this task with same intent. Okay. So any block of code, like I said, this is one statement, second statement. If first statement have two spaces, you should have a two spaces, otherwise they fail. The YAML have to follow, because this is a YAML code, we have to follow the indentation. And because task is main key, and these are the value of the task. If a task has two spaces, so they should have at least two spaces, maybe more. Then we give some extra. Then we give 4. Similarly, also this will have at least 2, but we make it with 4. Okay, why? Because it's a block of code of the task, or the value of the task should be have inside the task block. Maybe give 2 spaces, or maybe more, but at least give minimum 2. Okay, so this is a final sentence, guys. So in this playbook, because we have 2 hosts, it means we have 2 play. But this entire task is going to run in this host. This entire task is going to run in this host. So I can say this is one play gonna run, the second play gonna run. And normally in the playbook, we run multiple plays. Okay, so we can say there's a list of plays. Because the list, so we write hyphens here. Okay, and right now, I want to run only one single play. So let me remove this. I just write this play here just to explain you why we need hyphen here. This would be compulsory. And here I don't have this IP address. I want to run this play in all hosts. So let me use all. Okay, now this is how your playbook look like. We create more, you become more comfortable on the syntax. Okay, but who will run the play? Book, your controller node. So let me move to my controller node where it is. This is the controller node. Okay, here, guys, I'm going to create a file. Let's say file name is called my web. Give any file name. Good practice is give the extension to YAML. It's not compulsory again, but tell why YAML is extension normally means it is a YAML code. And let it paste this code because I create this code in my local computer. Copy and paste. This entire YAML code. Okay, save this file. Good practice, guys, in the command line, always try to open with VIM command. I don't have VIM command right now. It's an advanced editor of VI. So let me install VIM command in my local computer and my Ansible controller node. Nothing special about VIM, but extra benefit you get in the VIM editor in the command line editor. So when you create this kind of code, they give proper colors, all the things that makes things more clear. Okay, but this is the final playbook created. But how to run the playbook? So here there's a small difference come up. If you want to run if you want to run the ad hoc commands, okay, then to run the ad hoc command, the command is Ansible. But if you want to run the program file or playbook, then the command is not Ansible, it's Ansible-playbook command. So right now, guys, if you go to your Ansible controller, if you write Ansible tab, you can see these are a lot of commands we have. Okay, so Ansible is for ad hoc. We other commands also we'll see in the future, but Ansible playbook we have to run and give a playbook name. That's all. Okay, and if you have any syntax error, mostly initial practice, you might have see some indentation error come up. They will tell you. As you can see, guys, one play runs here. Play run. So in this playbook, we run one play. And what's the play name? Play name is always with your inventory names. All. And what is all content? All content, all the inventories. In my case, I have 2 inventories. So you can see they're running 2 IP addresses. And what are they running? Task. How many tasks? 1, 2 and 3 tasks. See here, package task, copy task, and service task. But if you guys, everything is green here, this task I already run. So nothing to change. Green means no change. Okay, but let me do small change here. Let me begin in my local computer. I have some STL file. I say I am Vimal by playbook. I started by playbook. I change something in my local file. Okay, now good thing is guys here is if you run your things manually, to type this command, type to this command, it takes a lot of time, right, to run. But now playbook is there. I don't have to worry about. I just keep on running my playbook. That's all. One click, everything done. This is known as automation, right? I don't know what part it changed. Maybe my system, software install, service stops. I don't know. I run my playbook again. All things will run, and they find out, hey, something changed the file. So my copy task or copy module already something changed. So something changed. You can see here something changed. They've done it. So in this IP also we changed whatever change we've done. So we updated finally in the website. This website also updated, and this website also updated with the new content. Okay. So point here is, if you talk about this playbook, contain one single play. We can have more plays also. We'll see in the future classes. Okay. And in one play, we are running 3 tasks. Okay. Logic is same. Task name equal to module name, and property equals to the values. We separate by column. Column. That's how it works. Otherwise, as we progress more, we'll see more about it. But my point here is, if you see the flow, the way I explained to you, your flow should start in this way. I just want one more minute, guys. We'll conclude then. First, set your goal, what you want to set up and configure. Plan the things, write down the steps, correct the information. Then convert every step into the Ansible ad hoc commands. Run it, test it, think working great. Then take this command and convert into playbook. If you follow this, then creating the playbook won't be a big deal for you. Because in the real world, 99.9% we always want to work in the playbook. Playbook is a key to work in the Ansible. Playbook give you automation, and Ansible by itself will give you the intelligence. That's what we want. Okay, so guys, this is what the flow I created myself, and I'm just sharing this knowledge to you so that anything you want to do in Ansible, we can do it. Otherwise, we'll see a lot more examples in the future classes. You become more and more comfortable in this concept, plus in all other advanced concepts also. So that's all, guys. See you in the next class. Okay, and soon, guys, after some classes, we also start preparing for you for the examination also. So you can also quickly jump to exams of Ansible. Okay, but we just started. So that's all, guys. Any query if you have, you can ask me. Thanks a lot for this, means a lot. Thank you, Vikram. Thanks a lot for the sharing. Thank you, Kamlesh. Okay. Yes, Malhar, tab also work. Okay, so for giving this spaces, you can give the tab. But mostly I have seen some of the tools, if they give the tab, that does not support. Okay, because YML is used by some other tools also. In some tools, tab does not support. So I highly recommend, instead you give the tab, try to give the spaces. Okay, that's I recommend. No, Aditya, today's class is not related to Docker Swarm or Docker Compose. Swarm is a different concept altogether, but you can think Docker Compose is mostly like this. So if you want to automate your Docker environment, okay, you can use Docker Compose. But Docker Compose is only meant for Docker. Okay, but Ansible is for everything. Even though you can use Ansible also to do the automation of the Docker world also. Okay, so we can think in this way. But Docker Swarm is different; it's a cluster tool. But you can think, who will create a Docker Swarm? You can use Ansible. Ansible will create a Docker Swarm setup for you. That's where you can think of. So any difference in Reddit Ansible automation? Yes, Manik Sundaram. I told you in my today class when I started, this class and my last class meant to explain you the Ansible core concepts. After you become comfortable with core concept, because everybody does not know the core concept, then I moved to this tool. What it was, AAP platform. Okay, then we move to AAP platform to explain you what is new. Lot of things come as a new. Entire architecture has been changed. Core concept same. So then I explain you the AAP platform. Not in this class, upcoming classes we'll talk about it. Thanks a lot for great session. Thank you, Vanti. So as you said, you don't need to remember all the syntax as we use documentation. My question is, can this document available in exam? Yes, this document, Vanti, is available in the examination because same document is available in the command line. So we have command to get the document in your Linux system without the internet. How? In my next class, I'll talk about. Any plan for Kubernetes? Yes, Masthan. But before the Kubernetes, we have some very powerful tool that work on the top of Kubernetes is coming up. It's called OpenShift. So even though with Kubernetes or without Kubernetes, we always recommend to learn OpenShift. It's a huge demand in the market. So Kubernetes also come up as an individual training in some month. But so recently, guys, we are going to start OpenShift. That's I highly recommend for everyone to learn. Yes, Saravanan, anything you want to configure, you can configure with Ansible. If you want to configure Kubernetes also, you can do so with Ansible. But if you're asking me, can we get Azure Kubernetes cluster? Answer is yes, you can do. But anything that you want to configure in the cloud, there's more known as infrastructure management. And for infrastructure management, Ansible we can use, it will work. But Ansible is not for management for the infrastructure. Because there's huge difference between infrastructure management and the configuration management, right? For the infrastructure management, I recommend to use Terraform. Okay? Terraform. This is one thing. So Kartinan, Ansible, guys, recently we do a lot of regions. Okay, we come up with to providing the sponsorships recently. Right, those who registered previously, they might have given more amount, but that amount, whatever given, guys, is go to Red Hat. Okay, like 16,500 for the examination. But recently, guys, we Alliance will come with this campaign to support so that everyone can go for the examination because it will gonna help us, help you guys. So we are sponsoring. Okay, so anyone who registered recently or going to register in the future, to whom we are going to a sponsor from our side, from Linux School side. Okay, so maybe whoever registered previously, okay, they can, they can recommend other guys to go for this examination so that we help them, right? But yeah, whoever registered previously, we can't help them. Okay. Rashid, that's really nice. Thank you very much. So, Raghavendra, I don't think so. Reddit gonna help us. If you already register 294 examination older version, and if they give role access to you, okay, that they can't change. For this, I think you have to buy a new one more time in new platform. Okay, so I don't think so because you already registered. They have given the coupons. Maybe they give the role access. They give role access only once, right? For them, new platform is a new paper, new course, right? They don't give you. So anybody who are in the Earth 3.0 and who have go for different two examination, right? One examination is RSCSA for you. Second, that will going to give you in the future. Okay. So Ansible wouldn't be the one. And I think for your benefit, you shouldn't choose Ansible. Okay. Why I'm saying it's for your benefit. You should not choose second paper as Ansible. Okay. It will give you a loss in the cost calculation. What are those calculations? I don't want to discuss right now. Think by yourself, or maybe you can ask to some of our team member. They will help you. But I don't recommend. It will give you a loss. Okay. I don't want you to take a loss. Why I'm saying this, especially the Earth 3.0 student, I suggest to talk to our team members or management team member. They help you to understand. Next session, same here. NC was so interesting. Even though we just started, we can do lots more things, right? Ravi, yes, we'll update you because we have just started Ansible. Ansible has a huge demand. Ansible OpenShift tool papers, I can say, and a lot of requirement come up from the industries also. Okay, so we'll trying Ansible and OpenShift will try to complete quickly. So we have some lot of resume with us, so we can help them, help you also and other companies also to quickly get connected, right? So we'll trying, especially for these two papers, to quickly complete the training, and you guys train you for the examination. So from my side, we'll try to do it very quickly. Your responsibility is whatever we have learned, just try to implement it. Okay. So that's all. Can we install package on a specific user using playbook? I know we will discuss about it, how we can do in upcoming classes. Okay. So that's all, guys, from my side. We'll discuss and we go to Ansible in next level in my next class, right? Bye. Take care, guys. You take care. I think Patanjali, you want to say something. I think in the last you say hello. So Patanjali Valmundi, you want to say something. Any query if you have, you can ask right now. Yes, please, Patanjali. If you have, just please write it. No, YML, guys, Kunal, we don't have to go to learn YML in deep. Okay, right now, but as we progress, automatically as the things requirement come up, I keep on giving the remaining knowledge of YML, whatever we need. So you will see at last, as Ansible complete, you already have the YML knowledge in detail and deep. But don't invest the time in learning the YML right now. Whatever I give you today, that is much more than enough. Can you show the demo of replacing AMI in AWS using Ansible? Patanjali, answer is, can we do this with Ansible? Yes. Can I do the entire setup of AWS Ansible? Answer yes. Can I change the AMI of the instances, either they're running or they're not running? Ansible, answer yes. Okay, but I don't recommend to use Ansible for that perspective. I recommend use Terraform. Why? Maybe in my upcoming class, I will definitely try to explain to you. Okay, even though AWS integration is not part of Ansible training. Okay, but if you want, I will show the demo also how to integrate Ansible with Docker, with with Ansible, all the things. I will definitely tell you in my upcoming classes. Okay, that time I will explain you how to replace the AMI, what you're asking me here. At the same time, I will also explain you why not to use them. If they support why not to use, that also I will explain to you. Okay. So what you ask, definitely I will tell you Patanjali in my upcoming classes. Okay. Bye. Take care.